Hello and welcome to the WordPress Tutor. My name is John Ramos, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install WordPress on your domain and your hosting service. In the last video I showed you how to get domain and hosting through bluehost.com, and in this video we're actually going to go through the first process in an installation of WordPress. So the first thing we're going to do is go to your domain and hosting. You should already have this, and if you need help with this, just let me know. I'm going to go to bluehost.com. I highly recommend this hosting service. And then I'm going to log in, and my credentials are already in here. This is where you would put your domain and your password for your Bluehost. Click login, and we'll just close this. That pops up, but you can just close it. Now you'll notice this. This is it's called the cpanel or control panel. The only thing we're concerned about at this moment is this right here, install WordPress. This is what I love about Bluehost. It's just very direct, and it has its own built-in function for WordPress. So we just click that, and we let it load. Okay, now here you see I have a few WordPress installations here, but all you do here is you click install. Okay, now this is where you tell WordPress where you want to install the WordPress site. If you have a new website, new domain and hosting, let's say yours was mydomain.com, you would leave this section here blank, because whenever you type in mydomain.com, it's going to go directly to your WordPress site. Now, if you have a main website but you want to install another website, let's say in another directory or another folder within your hosting, your domain and hosting, you would type in, let's say, mydomain.com, and then the slash, and then you'd say new site, or you could call it test site, or whatever you feel pertains to that particular installation of WordPress. So for this example, I'm going to install it under the domain Velveteen Web Design, which I use for a lot of my clients, because sometimes I want to show a client a particular idea with WordPress or their website, and I install it in a folder within my hosting. And what I call it sites, and then I do, for this one, I'll just do test site. Okay, so it's just a test site. It's for this demonstration purposes. And then you click on check domain, and then Bluehost checks if this domain is available, and it is. Now we want to click on show advanced options. This part is very important because you get to title your site. You can actually change this afterwards as well, but this just makes it easy to access the site once WordPress installs it. So I'm going to call this is I'm going to call this, my site is fine for now. And admin username, I don't want to type this whole long lengthy name whenever I want to log into my WordPress backend, because you will have to type this in unless you save it. You ask the computer to save your username and password. You will have to type this every time you want to access this particular website or to change something in this particular website. So one username I like using is John VWD. Velveteen Web Design Group is those are the initials that I use, and that's my our web design company. So John VWD, and this password, I do think it's a good password. You can put your own password that you're comfortable with, but passwords like these that have characters are kind of hard to crack. I like to leave because you never know, it's just nice to have a strong password rather than, like that, password that you're used to typing in, like, like a Honda, or like any password that's not very strong. So WordPress actually outputs a password that's fairly strong. I just save it in a little notepad file, and I say, okay, this is the test site notepad. Sometimes I create a folder on my desktop, and just to keep it organized, and I make a notepad with the username and password. That way I can always access that particular site with the username and password and I don't lose it. Okay, so that's for that. And we do want it to automatically create a new database for this installation. You don't have to concern yourself with what that means. Just make sure it's checked. And make sure you have you have this checked off, the terms and conditions, and then you click install now. Okay, just make sure that's checked and then click install now. Okay, and then you might be wondering, okay, what's it doing? But if you look up here, you can actually close this, and it tells you, okay, we're setting up WordPress for you. Great, thank you very much. And you can close this box, and you can actually click up here and click on View Process, and it'll show you, how long it's going to take. We'll just wait for a few seconds. This actually only takes, maybe 30 seconds, less than a minute. Because it says high five, your install is complete. You can view credentials and it'll tell you all the information about your site. I like to copy this actually and just paste it in a notepad file and then save it. Okay, that's my information. Now to access this website, you just go to, I installed it under velveteenwebdesign.com/sites/test site, and I hit enter, and it's going to go to the site. So this is my site here. Now if I want to access the back end, all I type in is wp-admin. You might want to write that down or remember that. It's wp-admin. Hit enter, and now it asks for my username and password. I go to my trusty notepad file where I have my information, and I type in the username, and I copied and pasted from my notepad file just to make it easier. You can click on remember me. There's nothing wrong with that. I usually don't because I work on multiple sites at a time, and I don't want WordPress to remember the credentials of one particular website. If you're just working on one website, this would work perfectly for you. You don't have to keep inputting the same username and password. And sometimes I do it for security reasons too, but you should be very safe with doing that with WordPress. So click login, and we'll just go into the back end. If you are concerned with any security issues, you might not want to let the computer remember your username and password. It's just nice to just keep it clean. Whenever you're done with a session, okay, and you're going back into a session, put your username and password. I've gotten into that habit. For me, it just feels a little bit cleaner than having the computer memorize my important credentials. Okay, this is what the WordPress backend looks like. This probably looks very foreign to you if you're new to WordPress. Don't worry about it. We're going to get to more in-depth training and tutorials in the next few videos. Thank you very much. I am the WordPress Tutor. If you like these videos, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down below. It's the red button that says subscribe. And thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.